Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sherelle and we are here in Philadelphia at the 30th Street Station as we are on our way to Washington, D.C. on the Amtrak train. I decided to take the first train leaving the Philadelphia 30th Street Station, which ended up leaving at 4:45 a.m. It was not crowded at all. The train with ticket was actually only about $10, so this actually ended up being perfect. As you can see though, a lot of things are closed, so you will need to bring some food and beverage items of your own because at this time, the only thing that was open was Dunkin' Donuts. If you do decide to get a ticket around the same time, just be mindful that the ticket desk will not be open. I purchased my ticket through the Amtrak app and everything was available in the app for me when I got to the train station. Because my train did leave at 4:45, I did get to the train station a little bit early. I actually got here around 3:30 a.m. because I was nervous and I didn't want to be late. But it ended up being perfect. There was actually no one here besides security and other passengers. So I was able to walk around and just calm my nerves until they told us what gate we would be leaving from. I'm very happy I decided to get on the train this early in the morning as it was not crowded at all. And I wanted to get to DC with enough time to still have my full day available. I left early Friday morning, so I did have the whole day to explore the city. The bright side of leaving this early is that the train was not crowded at all. There was very little passengers at this time, so I actually had the whole road to myself. I kept expecting at other stops that additional passengers would get on, but it was very few in between on our route to Washington, D.C. And we have made it to Union Station in Washington, D.C. This was my first time getting off on a lower platform, so I was a little bit confused, but the assistants did help me. You have to go up the escalator and then you'll be on it going into Union Station, which I knew where I'm going at this point. I actually decided to come to DC this weekend because it was hosting DC events around the world. Embassy Tour, which is hosted every May, the first and second weekend in May. half the embassies are open on the first weekend, and then the other half, which is the European Union, is open on the second weekend. It always lists what embassies will be open, so I would say make sure you're subscribed to their channel so you can know what embassies are open, and they give you a downloadable guide so you'll know which embassies to hit up first. Plan to come to DC for Embassy Weekend, I highly recommend taking the train and using the metro, as you will have very limited parking near the embassies, and I found that out the hard way my first year. So I would recommend taking the metro. The best stop to get off is going to be at DuPont Circle because a lot of the embassies are located near that area. For embassy tour, most of the embassies will be open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So I would recommend getting up early as the lines do form fast, and many of the embassies only let a certain amount of people in at each time. DC events typically will list the embassies that are open and available, and they will also list what embassies will be having what programs, as well as the embassies that will be offering free food, free activities. So do subscribe to their website as you'll be up to date on what embassies are offering what on each Saturdays that they're open. I will say this year, me and my sister had the best luck with the embassies because the lines were not long at all. It was a little bit cloudy this day, so I do think the weather had something to do with it. A lot of people didn't come out, but there were still crowds. So I will say that, again, get there early if you're available to. I will say the Embassy of Haiti was one of my favorites that I visit this Saturday, as the staff were so friendly. Everyone was so welcoming, and they had such good information about their embassy and their culture. So I do say I would highly recommend this event to anyone looking to come to DC for Passport Weekend. And the Haiti Embassy offered this traditional soup, which was amazing, totally free, as well as a punch. Now we're at the Embassy of Costa Rica, which was a beautiful embassy near the Dominican Republic. The Costa Rica Embassy was offering tote bags filled with tea and loads of information about their country. I also love going to the Embassy of the Dominican Republic, as they always have a crowd in front of their embassy, and they also sell food. I always love getting the Dominican cake as I leave. If you're able to go to the European Union Embassy Weekend, which is the following weekend, it's a great event. So comment below if you make it to this one, as I'm not going to be able to make it this year, but I would love to hear your experience. Now, I want to talk about my experience on taking Amtrak train, the coach seat versus business class. I will say I do recommend getting business class, as you do have priority seating, which means you get on first and your seat is assigned, so you don't have the anxiety of wondering if someone's going to be in your seat or if you'll be able to sit together. Now, the business class seats are more expensive, and they do come with a beverage that you can get from the cafe cart, which I normally skip. But if you're leaving early, I would recommend the coach, because it doesn't really matter where you seat, because the train won't be full at all. I will say that the business class seats are a little bit more wider, and the train is cooler and quiet. As you, most people are reserved seats, so there will be no confusion on who's sitting where. The other thing is my coach seat ticket was $10, whereas this ticket was about $70. Now, it did start to rain on the Sunday I was leaving to go home, but that can't be helped. But the train was very quiet. It was comfortable. As you can see, the outlets are located on the window side, so I typically will reserve a window seat, as I do enjoy looking out the window as I'm on my way home. Now, I would be interested to know, would you book the coach seat or the business seat? I would say coach is perfectly fine if you're leaving early or late in the day, but midday I would not recommend it. I would recommend getting a business class seat so that your seat is reserved. But I would love to hear what you think in the comments. And we have made it back to Philadelphia. This train will actually continue on to Boston. And as you can see, the train station's a lot more crowded than it was when we left at 4 in the morning compared to arriving back Sunday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Amtrak train, coach seats, and business seats, as well as some free events to do in DC. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to our channel. It helps us grow on YouTube, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.